All right, we should be on. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Sorry for the difficult interruptions. It seems like something or some apps don't want me to go live this morning. But I ain't scared of the apps at all. So I'm going to go ahead and tag my people again. I'm going to tag my people again and we're going to tag my people again and we're going to try to do this the easy way. You know, they said there's no other way. Well, I feel like there's an easy way. I ain't going to say out of this, but I know there's a way that we can limit our disruptions. I'm trying my best to. So please forgive me. All right? All right, here we go. I'm gonna tag my couple people up in here, and I'm gonna tag a couple folks up in here. All right, let's start. The question, welcome back to the live. I want to say, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another live. If you are coming in, I want you to speak to me in the comments. I want you to do that for me. Can you do that? Speak to me in the comments. And let's have a real, I want you to share the live and let's have a real conversation today, right? Because the conversation today is not like the conversation we had on Monday. The same conversation we had wasn't the same conversation on Monday. So we're about to step on some toes today. Matter of fact, today ain't even about stepping on toes, but today is one of those conversations where we have to sit in front of a mirror and tell ourselves the truth. I want everyone to take a deep breath and answer this question honestly. How many times have you said, I'm done? No, seriously. Let's think about it. How many times you said I'm done with this person and I'm done procrastinating and I'm done doing this, I'm done doing that. How many times do we feel like that? Come on. How many times did we put ourselves in that position and say, I'm done with that. I can't keep handling it. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. So it comes to my question today. Because I feel like I'm still tagging people, so just forgive me if I'm sitting here. I want these people to hear me. Just think about it. How many times you say, I'm done with that person. I'm done procrastinating. I'm done entertaining nonsense. I'm done doubting myself. I'm done going backwards. I'm done wasting time. I'm done allowing people to use me. I'm done being lazy. I'm done being inconsistent. I'm done making excuses. But now here's the real question. How many times have we actually stayed done? That's my question. How many times have we stayed done? Come on, somebody. That's where we're going to go today. And let's not judge anybody, because every single one of us, every single person watching this live has gone back to something before. Every single one of us. Some people went back to friendships. Some people have went back to bad habits. Some people went back to procrastination. Some went back to fear. Some went back to laziness. Come on, we're not going to let this disrupt us. Come on, camera. I ain't about to let you. Let me see. Here we go. Okay, we got to support it. How many times have we done? Some people done went back to fear, laziness. We have went back to me. That's why I topic today. Why do we keep going back to things we said we were done with? So when people go back to self-doubt, some people go back to overthinking, old version of themselves. And we're being honest. Sometimes life isn't fighting against us. Sometimes we're fighting against ourselves. I'm going to say that again. Sometimes life isn't always fighting against us. Sometimes we are fighting our own selves. We're fighting ourselves for what? What's the reason why we're fighting ourselves for? That's the hard truth, because a lot of people keep praying for change while protecting the very habits they're preventing change from happening. Whoa, that's deep right there. We pray for growth but protect comfort. We pray for discipline but entertain distractions. We pray for peace but keep giving chaos access to us. We pray for better but keep returning familiar. And familiar is dangerous, because familiar doesn't always mean healthy and happy. That's a lie. That's the lie a lot of us have been believed for years. We think because we know somebody for a long time, they're supposed to remain in our life forever. I don't know who I'm talking to. We done had some bad habits. We done had some bad habits that we have dealt with. We had some of those. We had some bad habits. And we had the habits for years that's just who we are, right? We think that, right? But we think because we're always operating a certain way, we cannot become anything different. That's a lie as well. Can I throw a little shot before we get started? Some folks are addicted to restarting their life every Monday. Whoa, this is Monday, I'm serious. This Monday I'm focused. This Monday I'm disciplined. This Monday I'm changing. Then Wednesday comes around and the motivation disappears. And can we be real? Motivation was never supposed to carry your life anyway. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is what changes your life. I can motivate you all day long, but it's what's the action that you do. And I think that's the problem. That's part of our problem. We become so addicted to emotional moments instead of daily habits. We get excited. We get inspired. We make announcements. We tell everybody we're changing. We make big declarations. Then when excited leaves, so do we. So when excitement leaves, so do we. Because let's be honest, everybody loves the idea of growth until growth asks for consistency. We're going to fix that on Friday. We're going to fix that by Friday. This is just, I want everything just be swapped. I'm sorry. This just distracted me a little bit. But let's be honest. Everybody loves the idea of growth until growth asks for consistency. Everybody loves the idea of success until success asks for sacrifice. Everybody loves the idea of peace until peace requires boundaries. Everybody loves the idea of changing until changing requires leaving old versions of themselves behind. And that's where people struggle. Listen to this. Note this down. The hardest thing to let go is the version of yourself you've been coming. The hardest thing to let go of is the version of yourself you've become comfortable being. I'm gonna say that again. I know I messed up. The hardest thing to let go of is the version of yourself you become comfortable being. I want somebody to type that in the chat. I need to explain that because it's bigger than it sounds. Sometimes we're not attached to people. We're attached to old versions of ourselves. The lazy version, the procrastinating version, the inconsistent version, the version that says I'll do it later, the version that quits when everything gets hard. I sound like I'm preaching, but I feel like preaching on today. And here's the truth. Here's another truth. Growth doesn't require leaving people behind, but sometimes growth requires leaving old behaviors behind too. Because if every year looks the same, let's stop blaming life for a minute. If January you're making the same goal, if every January you're making the same goals, if every summer you're making the same promises, if every year you're still fighting the same battles, if every year you're saying this is my year, then eventually we got to stop blaming life and start examining ourselves. Whoa, Jesus, that preach all by itself, because some people don't have a life problem. Some people have a pattern problem. I wish I can discover that, because patterns are sneaky, because patterns become normal. Patterns become routines. Patterns become habits. Patterns becomes lifestyles. So then we eventually wake up one day and wonder why we're stuck. But we're not stuck. We're just comfortable. Woo! And those are two different completely things, because growth gets delayed every single time comfort wins an argument. I need to explain that, because every time you say tomorrow instead of today, comfort won. Every time you say one more time won't hurt, comfort won. Every time you revisit something that already showed you who it was, comfort one. Every time you choose temporary feelings over long-term growth, comfort one. Can I throw another little shot to you? If you feel offended, well, feel offended. You're going to need to hear it. And can I throw another shot? You don't need another motivational quote. I said it this past week or last week. You don't need another motivational quote. Some folks don't need another vision board. Some folks don't need another speech. Some folks need to become honest. Because honesty is where growth begins. And today we're going to be honest, because sometimes the biggest thing standing between us and our next level is us. Let's go to my point one. My point one is we keep going back because comfort is an addiction. Now let's really get into it, because if we're going to be honest today, this is probably where the entire conversation starts. We keep going back because comfort is addictive. God have mercy, Lord. That's deep, because most of us don't realize comfort becomes an addiction. And here's why it gets dangerous, Bishop, because addictions don't always look bad. Some addictions look normal. Some addictions look safe. Some addictions look familiar. And that's why they're hard to identify. Come on, let's be honest. We know what we need to do. But most people don't have an information problem anymore. We need to stop procrastinating. We know we need to get disciplined. We know we need to stop entertaining nonsense. And when we know we need to stop delaying our growth. Listen to me. When we learn, we listen to this. We need to stop delaying our growth. We need to know how to stop making excuses. We know we need to stop making excuses. We know what needs to happen. So if we know that what needs to happen, why are we not doing it? I know I'm messing up. I'm trying to look at y'all and read this at the same time. Well, let me just sit here and just do what I got to do and get up out of here. Because comfort is talking louder than your discipline. Comfort says stay in the bed, but your discipline says get up. It's like a devil and an angel. Listen to me. Comfort says start tomorrow, but discipline says start today. Comfort said one more time won't hurt. But discipline said you already learned this lesson. Comfort says you deserve a break, but discipline says don't stop because you don't feel like it. And if we're being honest, some of us have been letting comfort make decisions for years. Years. I said it. I said years. Think about it, because you know I ain't lying. You know I ain't lying. Years you've been thinking about that. So eventually those years become lifestyles. And those lifestyles become our reality. And then we start thinking, and then we start saying things like, I don't know why I'm stuck. No, let's be real. Sometimes we know exactly why we stuck. We stuck here because every single time growth starts becoming uncomfortable, we run back to what feels easy. And here's another thing we have to talk about. Sometimes we don't miss people. We miss being comfortable around them. Jesus have mercy. That's a whole different conversation right there, because let's be honest, some people weren't necessarily good for us. We were just used to them. Some habits weren't helping us. We were just used to them. Some routines weren't growing with us. We were just so used to them. There's a difference, because being used to something and needing something are not the same thing. Being familiar with something does not mean it's assigned to your future. I need somebody to type that in the comments. Being familiar with something doesn't mean it's assigned to your future. I need to explain that, because that's life changing. Some of us keep dragging things into our future simply because they've been a part of our past. No. Longevity doesn't automatically equal purpose. Just because you know somebody for 10 years doesn't mean they're supposed to walk into your next season. Just because you had habits for 10 years doesn't mean it's supposed to remain forever. Growth will always ask for one difficult question. What are you willing to leave behind to become who you are trying to become? Let me say it again. What are you willing to leave behind to become who you're trying to become? That's the real question right here. Everybody wants a different life, but not everybody wants the same habits. Listen. You see, look. And stop, listen. Listen about everybody. Everybody wants peace, but don't want to set no boundaries. Everybody want discipline. They want it. but don't know how to put in the work. Right? Right? I ain't lying. Let me be honest with you. I ain't lying to you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm checking my iPad and see the comments because I can't see it on here. But that's the real thing. Everybody wants success, but nobody wants the discipline. But everybody wants to grow, but nobody wants the discomfort. And let's stop lying to ourselves because we become professionals at making excuses sound reasonable. I'm tired. I start tomorrow. This week has been stressful. I got a lot going. I said some of these things too, and I can call myself. I said it to my pastor. And I'm gonna call my own self out, because some of you are ashamed to call your own self out on your own issues, but I ain't scared to say it, and I don't care who gotta say something about it. I done said to my pastor, I'm tired. This week has been stressful. I've got a lot of going on. Pastor, I try to call every week. I tell my pastor, y'all, and I'm gonna call myself out. I'm gonna call myself out. I always tell my pastor, I'll call you this week. Then every Sunday, Pastor, I forgot to call you because I've been a lot going on. But if I can make free time for everything else, I should make free time to call my pastor and check in. Because when we check in, I check on him, and he checks on me. Okay, let me leave that alone. Because what said privately should stay privately. I'm not going to let you know what I say. But what says privately it stays private. And what comes public, that's why I say, and I shouldn't have said what I check on my pastor, she check on me. But that's just, I'm telling you. But let me cover that real quick before so many people have questions. Let me cover that real quick. The reason why I said that is because, I said that because is that sometimes you will need someone to in your corner, and you have to be in their corner. Not undercover in their corner, but you have to be in each other's corner. Because when you're in each other's corners, hey, I've gone through a stressful week just like yours. But if I'm telling you all my stuff, and you ain't giving me no feedback like, oh, everything's been good, but deep down inside, you know everything haven't been good. Alright? That's why I say some private moments don't need to be public. Alright, let's move on. Let's keep on going. I just need to address that right there, for so many people have questions and have things to say, because I ain't scared of none of it. Yeah, I'm going to tell you how it is and what it is. I try to say it in a nice fashion, but you know I say something. See, I see. Let's pause right there. Let's talk about me first. Let's not look at the notes. I'm the type of person, let me be honest with you. I'm the type of person, I'm going to be cool, I'm going to be nice, I'm going to be relaxing. I'm not going to cause no stress or no drama towards nobody. But once you cross that path with me, or once you get on my nerves, I'm going to let you know, look, you getting on my nerves. I have to walk away and separate myself, okay? All right, let's go back to the tip. Let's go back to here. Okay, we said I do it later. We said all these things, right, before. But eventually letters become next week. Next week becomes next month, and next month becomes next year. And one day you wake up wondering where all the time went. And that's the scary part, because life keeps moving whether you moving or not. And that's the scary thing. That's scary when we think about it. Time is moving. People are growing. Opportunities are moving. Seasons are changing. Life is happening. And some people are still standing exactly where they were 3 years ago because comfort has become their boss. I'm going to say it again. Let me say it again. I'm going to say it again. I could just close my notebook right here. I got to do something at 12:15, so I have to hurry up and get on off of here. I got 5 points, and I'm still in point 1. Listen. I'm going to have to do part 2 later on today. I could do a part 2 around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock if I ain't finished today. Let me say this. I'm going to say it again. Some people are still standing exactly where they were 3 years ago because comfort has become their boss. I want to let you know this temporary comfort creates permanent frustration. I need to explain that because that's exactly where this is what is happening to a lot of people. Because comfort feels good for a moment, but eventually frustration arrives. That's why people become irritated, jealous, angry, unhappy, because deep down inside they know they're capable of more. Deep down inside, they know they should have started. Deep down inside, they should have known they know they delayed themselves. They delayed themselves. And can I throw a little shot before we move on? Some folks are praying for doors to open while refusing to get up and turn the knob. Jesus have mercy. I'm going to say it again. Some folks are praying for doors to open while refusing to get up and turn the knob. Jesus, that's real. Because faith, prayer, hope, and dreams are beautiful things, but eventually action has to enter the room. And today we're not blaming life anymore. We're not blaming everybody else anymore. We're not blaming timing. We're not blaming circumstances. Today we're becoming honest. Because sometimes the person standing in the way of your next level is starting to the person that is standing in the way of your next level is staring back at you every morning in the mirror. And that may be the hardest truth of them all. So I'm gonna let you know this. Stop acting surprised by things that keep showing you who they are. Stop acting surprised by things that are showing you who they are. Now let's put it all on the table, because right here is a lot where people get themselves trapped. We're going back to things that already showed us. Zoom in a little bit more. Here we go. Showed us who they exactly are. Right? There's a lot of people. We're going back to things that already showed us exactly what they are, and then we act surprised when the outcome stays the same. I know that's a little uncomfortable, but let's be honest today. How many times has somebody showed you they don't respect your time? How many times somebody's shown you they only come around when they need something? How many times has a habit shown you that is delaying your future? How many times that procrastination shown you that is stealing your opportunities? How many times has overthinking shown you that is exhausting your peace? Yet somebody keep reopening doors that already gave us the same results over and over and over again. And let's stop making excuses for everything too, because if we're being honest, some people aren't confused anymore. Some people are making cautious decisions to ignore red flags because accountability is uncomfortable. God, that is deep. Sometimes we already know the answer, but we don't like the answer because the answer requires change. Can I throw a little shot? Stop asking for another sign when you've already got 20 signs sitting in front of you. Let me say that again. I'm about to walk away. Stop asking life for another sign when you already got 20 signs in front of you. Some folks have enough signs to build a whole highway, and you still asking, should I let this go? That's funny. That may be funny, but it's real. Let me tell you this. Stop asking for clarity when you already been given the evidence. Stop asking for clarity when you've already been given the evidence, because I need to explain that because it's huge. Sometimes we pray for answers that life already gave us. The evidence is already there. The pattern is already there. The outcome is already there. We just don't like the evidence is telling us because we want things to be so different badly. And we can really be honest for a second. Sometimes we aren't addicted to people. We're addicted to possibility. We keep saying maybe this time will be different. Maybe they'll change. Maybe I'll change. Maybe next month will be better. But eventually, maybe has to turn into movement. Because here's another truth. Hope is beautiful, but hope without action eventually turns into excuses. You cannot build a future on maybe. Come on, somebody. Let's talk about friendships for a minute, because some people need to hear this. Everybody that's around you for years is not automatically healthy for your future. That's not disrespectful. It's reality. People grow. People evolve. Seasons change. Priorities change. Some people were assigned to one chapter of your life, not the entire book. Woo, have mercy. That's hard for some people because loyalty has become confused with obligation. Some people think loyalty means keeping access open forever. No, loyalty and boundaries can exist together. I can appreciate what we had and realize we're not helping each other grow anymore. Let you know this. History does not automatically deserve your access to your future. History does not automatically deserve access to your future. I need to explain that because one of the biggest mistakes people make, they think they become so invested means that they have to stay forever. No, mama. Sometimes the lessons was the assignment. Sometimes the memory was the assignment. Sometimes the season was the assignment. Let's be real. Some folks are dragging 10-year-old habits, 10-year-old mindsets, and 10-year-old versions of themselves into future they've been praying for a different look. Woo! That's impossible. You cannot carry old habits into a new season and expect new results. You can't carry old excuses into a new season and expecting new results. You can't carry old fears into a new season and expect new results. Something has to leave. Something has to change. Something has to grow. And here's another little shot. We're going to keep it 100 today. Some people spend more time revisiting old situations than they spend building new opportunities. Some people have spent more time revisiting old situations that they've spent than they spent building new opportunities. That's deep, because you spend more energy reopening old doors that's constructing new ones. Think about it. Y'all stop being slow. Sorry for calling you slow, but stop thinking slow and let's think about it. The time you spending overthinking, the time you spending revisiting old conversations, the time you're replaying old disappointments, the time you're spending entertaining old distractions. Imagine all of that energy got redirected towards your goal instead. Imagine where you be. I'm gonna let you know this. Every time you revisit an old cycle, you postpone your next level. Every revisit is a delay. Every excuse is a delay. Every one more time is a delay. Every I start tomorrow is a delay. And eventually delay becomes years. Years become lifestyles. Then people waking up wondering where time went. Right? Can I throw one more shot? Can I throw one shot till we move to the next point? Some folks are trying to outrun consequences instead of changing behaviors. I'm going to say it again. Some people are trying to outrun consequences instead of changing behaviors. That's real right there. Because if nothing changes, nothing changes. And if we're choosing the same things, we keep getting the same outcomes. At some point, we got to stop being surprised by what we keep selecting. Because your future is not built by your intentions. Your future is built by your decisions. And that's the truth, whether we like it or not. I'm going to let you know this point 3. Procrastination isn't laziness. Sometimes it's fear we got comfortable with. Let me sit right there for a minute, because this right here is probably where a lot of us live and don't realize it. We throw the word procrastination around all the time. We laugh about it, joke about it. We say that's just me. We post memes about it. We say I'm a procrastinator, like it's a personality trait. But can I tell you something? Procrastination isn't cute anymore when it's delaying your future. Let's stop making it sound smaller than it is. Procrastination is expensive. It's expensive. That's deep right there, because procrastination doesn't always steal money. Sometimes it steals years. It steals opportunities. It steals confidence. It steals momentum. It steals trust in yourself. And if we're being honest, some people aren't tired because life is hard. Some people are tired because they're carrying around the guilt of all the things they know they should have started. Let's put it all on the table. How many times you said I start Monday? I do it tomorrow. I need to get myself together. Then tomorrow becomes next week. And it comes next month. And it comes next year. And before you know it, you stand in the same place with the same goals and the same excuses. Can I throw another shot? Some folks got 17 notebooks, 30 screenshots of motivational quotes, 10 unfinished projects, 70 ideas in their head, and still haven't started. That's funny. But information, here we go right here. I'm going to say it again. Information isn't a problem anymore. We live in a world where information is everywhere. The issue isn't what you know. The issue is what you're refusing to. Delaying your life is still making a decision. I need to explain that, because right here changed my perspective. A lot of people think they think doing nothing means they're standing still. No, doing nothing is a decision too, because every day you avoid the thing you need to do, you're making a decision. Every day you delay growth, you're making a decision. Every day you avoid responsibility, you're making a decision. Life doesn't pause while you're deciding whether you want to move or not. Life keeps going. And let's get real honest, because procrastination isn't laziness. Sometimes procrastination is fear wearing a disguise. Some people are scared to fail. Some people are scared to succeed. And some people are scared that if they actually become disciplined, some people will start expecting more from them. Some people are scared that if they actually grow, they have to leave old habits, old environments, and old relationships. And if we're keeping it 100, some folks have gotten so comfortable with excuses that excuses have become part of their routine. Think about that. Every time life asks for discipline, an excuse shows up. Every time life asks for consistency, an excuse shows up. Every time life asks for growth, an excuse shows up. I'm tired. Jesus have mercy. And let's stop pretending like we never said those things, because we all have. But eventually we got to ask ourselves a serious question. Is this a reason or this is a pattern? That's the difference. Stop giving temporary feelings permanent authority over your future. I don't need to explain it. I'm going to throw another shot. Let me throw one more shot. Some folks negotiate with themselves way too much. Let me keep on going. Because the future version of you is dependent on the current version of you to stop negotiating. Let me just skim through here. The person is waiting on the version of you that's sitting here today to finally become serious, because the life you're praying for is hidden inside the habits you're avoiding. I don't want to keep being on this topic, because I feel like I gotta preach, and I might. Matter of fact, I think I skipped a point, guys, or I never worked on a point. Oh, I skipped a point. It's fine. We're going to skip it. It's fine. We're going to go straight to 4. We got 4 points today. Actually, I can't swim with y'all today, then. I got a little more time. I'm going to swim with y'all. Let me explain this right here. Let me explain what I said. The life you're praying for is hidden inside the habits you're avoiding. I need to explain that because it's huge. The discipline you're avoiding, that's where your next level is. The consistency you're avoiding, that's where your next level is. The uncomfortable work you're avoiding, that's where the next level is. And here's one final shot before we move on. You don't need another motivational speech, right? You just need to stop breaking promises to yourself. Because every time you tell yourself you're going to do something, don't do it, your confidence quietly starts shrinking. Your trust in yourself starts shrinking. Your discipline starts shrinking. And eventually, you stop believing your own word. And that's so dangerous, because if you don't trust yourself, who will? Today, we changing that, because enough is enough. No more delay. No more excuses. No more negotiating with comfort. Boom. No more putting your life on hold. Okay, let me stop. Because life is moving whether you're moving or not. I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired of watching time win while potential sits on the sidelines. Come on, I need somebody to agree with me. I'm tired of watching time win while potential is sitting on the sidelines. I'm tired of watching my time fly by and win by wasting my time, while my potential, my gift, my talent is sitting on the timeline just to make somebody else feel comfortable. I'm tired of making people feel comfortable. Let me make myself comfortable. I'm about to walk into a season of uncomfortable, but I'm feeling comfortable. Let me feel comfortable in the uncomfortable. Jesus. Let me say it again. Let me feel comfortable while in the uncomfortable season. Let me feel that way. So when I'm comfortable, I'm like, okay, I'm uncomfortable, but I know the God got me. That's my comfort right now. Jesus. Okay, let me keep on going. You can't receive new things if your hands are still full of old things. You can't receive new things. I'm going to say it. You can't receive new things if your hands are still full of old things. My hands so full, I can't get nothing else. Now let's land the plane, because I think this is where everything comes together. After everything we discussed today, the biggest question we have to ask ourselves is simple. What are we holding on to that's delaying our future? Because if we're being honest, everybody says they want a new season. They want peace, discipline, better, growth, change. And here's the uncomfortable truth. You cannot receive new things if your hands are still full of old things. I don't mean people. I mean, sometimes some people just gotta, I'm gonna say it like this. Some folks just gotta, come on, let me say it. Let me say it like that. Let me just be a little mean to you like this. Because here's the thing about uncomfortable truth. You cannot receive new things if your hands are still full of old things. I don't mean people. Some things, the old things is a mindset. It's fear, procrastination, excuses, insecurity. And the old thing is constantly doubting yourself. But sometimes the old thing is overthinking every little thing before you ever take a step. I'm going to say it again. Sometimes the old thing is overthinking every little thing before you ever take a step. Let's be honest. Some folks have become emotional hoarders. 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 That's deep. We hold onto old disappointments, old arguments, old failures, old seasons, old versions of ourselves, and then we wonder why we wonder why moving forward feels heavy. Well, of course it's heavy because you've been carrying things that expired years ago. That's why you feel so much hurt and pain, because you keep holding on. I understand that you're hurt. I understand you didn't want the things had to go down how we're supposed to go down. But I remember when God turned my life around, and I'm still holding this burden on me, but I'm about to let this burden go. Come on. I had to remember there was a time where I felt so built up with anger and everything like that. And I had to tell myself, look, I can't keep worrying about something that happened 10 years ago. I can't worry about something that happened. I can't keep grieving and crying and being mad at myself because somebody already had a ticket to heaven. I can't blame myself for somebody else's death. I mean, I was trusting God and saying, God, they will live, but it didn't happen. But I can't keep blaming myself. And let me be honest with you. My Aunt Thomasine died in 2019. I'm going to be honest with you. Let's get out my notes. My Aunt Thomasine, before I went to Greater Love, I went to Bethel Family Worship Center where Bishop George Bloomer was the preacher. But sometimes I would go to my Uncle Nate Fuller's church at Hope Church International on Holloway Street. Then I went to Bethel Family Worship Center as a junior deacon at Bethel Family Worship Center on Dow Street where Bishop Bloomer is the pastor. Thomasine and when Thomasine was sick, come on somebody. Thomasine was sick. She had pancreatic cancer. I ain't telling the family business. It's already out there. She gone. And she will want me to say this as well. So if you mad at me because I done said something about my aunt that passed away, you be mad. I'm living my life. You be mad. My aunt, I visited my aunt. She was sick before my birthday. She got married around my birthday when she had cancer. I visited my aunt August 8th, 2019. The first time I ever seen her in months because she was always in the hospital. I seen my aunt in the hospital with things. I'm 8 years old. With cords. Her hair was gone. She didn't look like herself. And all my family told me, don't laugh. I wanted to because I couldn't believe it. That we made little heart things. I lost mine, but it's like a little heart thing with the thumbs. I remember this stuff, and I remember. Oh God, I'm getting emotional, but I'm gonna tell it. And I saw her. August 8th was my mother's birthday, 2019. I left after school. I was with my grandmother on my dad's side, and my dad. They picked me up, took me to the hospital, and everybody was crying. I'm like, why everybody crying? She all right. God got her. She all right. Everybody crying, upset. And I saw her. I said, okay, Aunt Sing, I see you later. And she'd be like, I love you now.